Fearful Weight Ministry. I want to continue on my series. Today we're going to be talking about humility. This topic has brought me to my knees to God, and I couldn't get myself to make this video until now because I was dealing with things in my life that just need deliverance, and I needed a prayer. So I mean, if you want to continue praying for me, I'm still not done with the battle, and just like Ephesians 6:12, it says that we're going to be fighting principalities, to the day we die. On this topic, mostly, as a lot of pastors and preachers, will admit, is that they'll be preaching to themselves, and humility is something I struggle with, mostly because I have a high confidence level, and I love just, being friendly, and sometimes people who are a little bit less, extroverted like me don't know how to handle it, and they kind of think me as being cocky or whatnot. I don't disagree with them, I get it, but back onto track, we want to talk about humility, and for the most part it's a hard thing to do, and it's tough to incorporate into our walk with Christ. In Romans 12:3, Paul, he tells us that we are privileged and have authority here on earth, and sometimes that makes us kind of a little bit more air in our heads. We're like, oh, well, we're God's chosen people. We can tell people what we want to say. And no, that's not how it goes, unfortunately. And thank God that, that's the way it's said, or we would never be able to grow our church. For the most part, he tells us that, to be, sincere with our evaluations in our lives as far as, are we on track? Are we really chasing the heart of God? And for the most part, like I said, about a week and a half ago, I was just going through a hard time. I couldn't get myself to grips with God. I just kept on veering left and right off this path of mine. So that being said, a lot of us in the church are, we're, like I said, me personally, we were just dealing with struggles and, hardships in our lives. And, a lot of us have pride, and that goes hand in hand with humility. Is if we can just drop this pride of ours that we think we're good, we're all right without God, and we don't need His help in all areas of our life, we're wrong. Personally myself, and I know a lot of people are just the same, is that, we're hurting, and, when people or pastors do the altar calls, it's not to make a show of yourself. And yes, you can stay in your seat. Yes, you can pray in your seat and be delivered there. But it's to get, personal help for ourselves. And after we go through these, roller coaster effects with God, I guess that's a good way to explain it. We start getting this up, and, I go through this all the time. It's like you're up and down, and I cannot stand it. It's like, why can't I just be a gradual up? Like, I'm just getting better and better and better. And it is possible. It is. I'm just, I'm like you. We're all, under the grace of God and our falls and our sins. And that's the best part about God. There is no restart. It's just, you're always going up. And it's us that makes us feel like this. It's not Him. We go away from God. He doesn't go away from us. But the things that Paul was talking about, and as we continue in Romans 12, he says that, our gifts, and we were supposed to use them with responsibility. And in verses 6 and 8, he kind of paints a picture. And it goes something like this. In His grace, God has given us different gifts for doing certain things well. So if God has given you the ability to prophesy, speak out with as much faith as God has given you. If your gift is serving others, serve them well. If you're a teacher, teach well. If your gift is to encourage others, be encouraging. If it is giving, give generously. If God has given you leadership ability, take responsibility seriously. And that's with all things, really. I take all the gifts that God has given us seriously. And it continues, and if you have a gift for showing kindness to others, do it gladly. And that's a great a great setup of what Paul was, just on a little bit of the gifts that that are in the Christian faith. It paints a good picture. But guys, with humility and joy, we should start using these gifts. I don't want to sound down on the church. I'm not, but it seems like just by an honest evaluation, I see that a lot of us kind of just are like not doing it, and it's kind of frustrating. I don't know if they're fake Christians or they're just lukewarm Christians that I just know, but for the most part, it's like we should start doing these more. We should start giving generously. We should start being an ambassadors for Christ that that Paul has told us that we are, and Jesus has told us that we are. We're supposed to be the city on a hill, shining like it's no one's business. And guys, I just want to submit to you that is a good way to start, is by doing it to strangers, doing it to your family, doing it to your pastor, and most importantly, just doing it every day. But guys, thank you for checking out this video once again and staying with me on it. I pray that blessings will be abundant in your life, and use these in your life. It starts with just a little step, and the more steps you take with faith and these different types of areas in our life that we always have to improve, you'll see Jesus work and walk in your life like crazy. It's amazing. But guys, peace out, love you, and subscribe. And that's probably the hardest thing to do, is to go up to God and say, what do you want me to do? And it'll take him a while to even tell you what he wants you to do. And that's why you got to be persistent in prayer. That's why prayer is so key and so big in the walk with